Now we can take the cognitive ability of these people. If we use people to train AI with a lower wage, is a new form of colonialism. We are not anymore interested in sugarcane or in gold or in something else. We are not anymore interested in the muscle power of slavery. Now we are interested in cognitive state. So that could be, I know I'm very provocative saying that, but this is a warning signal, no? It could be a new season of colonialism in which West is coming back to take out something of valuable for the West. You know, the mentality is not so different. And the cognitive help that people with low wages can give to the West could be really precious. And the second thing is, you know, the last half century of the political history of Latin America sometimes show up like there was a not legitimate influence on the single state of other interests outside of the state. Now you don't need to make any infiltration of black ops. You can have a sort of sharp power, so influence in the public sphere through social media, through digital space, with an algorithm that simply it never become tired on doing something. You can have the best agent on the field, but he need to sleep. An algorithm do not need to sleep. So it's the perfect, black op agent to change the public opinion. Then if you look at what happened with when Facebook simple bring universal internet access to two countries, Philippines and Brazil. In Philippines, Duarte, in Brazil, Bolsonaro. So the polarization connected to the algorithmical splicing of a social environment, algorithm that was designed for marketing purpose, is an effect that could be really challenging for Latin America, for South America in general. And then you have to think about jobs. The jobs that are not connected with muscle are the best that the machine can do. So an AI flooding could simply eat the best paid job that are the more cognitive and simple release the lower income jobs. And so also the poverty could be shifted in a different way. So there are a lot of challenges because, you know, in this moment, there are just two giant producers of AI, United States and China. Europe is confident, I don't know if it's safe, but it's confident that because it's a huge market, regulating the market is enough to not be too much influenced. I hope it's right, but it's a dangerous call in my perspective.
This is really difficult and at the same time necessary. We need to come together so as not to be a passive actor in the evolution of AI.
Absolutely. But this is now the bet that Europeans are doing on themselves. In a divided South America, I don't know if could arise a political defense or if every country has to play its own game and they could be eaten much, much more easily by the two service providers with two really different politics behind. And so it could be challenging. But, you know, tension around the world are rising everywhere. And I think that what we will see in AI field is also, like other field, signed by this rising tension that the global economy is producing among blocks.
Is ethics in AI sufficient?
Yeah, ethics is a soft law. It is a principle that company could apply try to give to themselves a regulation before someone from outside intervene. You cannot simply say ethics is enough. Ethics is important, is a voice, but it's a voice. So with a voice, I can go deeply inside yourself and touching something really deeply, but it's a voice, you can simply ignore it. And so the dual effect of ethics, the ability to go deep and the fragility to being a voice, has to take care for this really challenging geopolitical situation in which AI can change the equilibrium and relationship around the world.
A point of comparison that we discussed was how in the 60s, Korea and Colombia were equal in educational levels and GDP. And today, Korea is a completely different story.
Well, first of all, Korea has a really huge advantage that is between China and Russia that Colombia didn't. And so Korean product can be sold without taxation in United States market. That makes South Korea really wealthy. You know, United States need a place that is friends and wealthy there. It's not only an intuition or some CIO. Now it's much more easy to see the dangers than not the correct answer. So actually, the new layer of artificial intelligence is a middle layer. It's something in the execution of the process that can eat the skill inside the company. So if the innovation is not taking care or being aware that AI can eat the skill inside the company, the know-how, then you rely on the one that give you the services. That is a slavery. It's in that sense Korea fit. You know, Samsung start to simple assemblate all the television around the world. At one point, there was the middle layer to have a television. And they start to say, let's ask that's all the television, Samsung television, and they eat the market. And so my personal advice is to be really careful because innovation could be really wonderful to enhance productivity and to give to someone the ability to challenge a global market and to stay in the global market with a really powerful position. Only if you put the innovation with human in the loop. So to enhance human ability, not to surrogate it. Otherwise, the innovation will be the transfer of power, the transfer of knowledge, the margin eater that simple eat all the margin in the production of a company. So that we are facing two kinds of innovation. Delegating to AI and digital innovation, or integrating AI and digital innovation to enhance productivity. The way in which a CIO or a company leader will bring innovation to the company is the key feature to give a future or not to give a future to the company. And it's not so easy to be more precise because it depends on the kind of company we are speaking about. But the model are two, there is not the other way. Or you use technology to make more productive your people, and you bet on people, or you simply start to replace people with technology, and you rely on technology.
So what's the difference between automation and innovation with AI?
Yeah. For example, you can imagine to replace the process with a digital or automation process. The innovation, this is not innovation. This is automatization of the process. Innovation happens when you redesign the process. And so digital artificial intelligence plus human beings change the way in which you make the process, making it more fast, reliable, smart, flexible, and things like that. So you can have, for example, let me do this idea. Imagine that you have to iron a shirt, okay? Woman that iron shirt, and you would like to have an innovation in this process. You can imagine to make a robot that is ironing like a human being. Really costly, really slow, really weird. Or you can change the process and having an ironing folding machine that is work like a press, like a printer, for example, that simple ironing and print. And the human being is the one that is fitting things inside the machine. So these are the two models. Taking the process that you have and you would like to change in a digital way, but it's weird, slow, costly, and ineffective, and you rely on technology, or change the process to enhance the way to in the worker who do what he has to do. And then you can apply to everything from beverage production up to car production, up to services, to everything.
The challenges that arise with the speed of evolution and growth of AI are numerous.
Well, we are facing a huge challenge. Every day there is a challenge, a linguistic challenge between a machine that every day it's much more human and a human beings that every day understand himself as more as a machine. Neuroscience told us that we have a brain circuit. If I have to tell you with a practical example, my little nephew, is interacting much more in a human way with the digital assistant in the smartphone of my brother than not with the little brother that's still not able to speak. And the real problem is, what is the difference between something that is working and someone that exists? If you take a duck and an hair dryer, both have the same shape, the duck and the hair dryer. If I turn off the hair dryer, then I can turn it on. If I turn off the duck, it's died. Well, here we have a difference. The problem today is the ability to understand this quality. The difference is a quality and not a quantity. And our life is not simple how we works, but how we exist. And you have things like happiness, meaning of life, wellness, a desire of a future, and things like that. Other ways we would like simple to be more efficient, but you will have not happiness, meaning of life, meaningfulness, and things like that. So the two different, there is like a blurring between a human being and machine, because AI is much more intelligent. We have to find back the ability to say what is the difference and to interact or to act with the human beings in a human way. And the human beings deserve human rights and give to the machine the right position in the social place.
Take note of this phrase and this hack. We must bet on human nature.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge game in which we have to play together. And I think that education is one of the first challenge. Education, not only the one that happened in the school, but also the informal one, like the one that can happen listening, for example, a podcast or reading a book or reading a piece of newspaper. And it's a betting on the human nature. We have to bet on ourselves to face the challenge of AI without being in some way defeated by the AI. Otherwise, we put in place an evolutionary challenge, Homo sapiens versus Machina sapiens. And that is not the good setting that we have to produce. We have to learn how to cooperate with the machine, because the machine can relieve our life only if we are able to give a meaning to our life. And we are back to your point.
To wrap up the episode, let's talk about life purpose.
Yeah, I think that you can answer to that question.